Good morning, everyone. Welcome again. Today is Fabulous Friday, one of my favorite days of the week. I can't believe it's been a week already. Last week we did Fabulous Friday, Self-Improvement Saturday. I'm going to kind of expand on that just a bit, but I want to review just for a second. Last week, I want to see if you actually followed through with some of the things we asked you. If you remember what we did learn last week was to finish a project, exercise a little bit, take a shower. That was a big one. Create a vision board of some sort. Go get your go-to shirt on and wear it for the day, and clean something. Those are fairly simple things. Today, however, I have a quote for you. We've all heard it said many times, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you'll see it when you believe it. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. So you'll see it when you believe it. So here's a favorite quote too. I read this the other day, and it says this: it's a simple procedure to calculate, and I have one here, to calculate the number of seeds in an apple. But who among us can ever say how many apples are in a single seed? Kind of an interesting thought. So in moving forward with that, today I would like you to consider just a few things. First, I want you to make a list. Now, you can't make a list if you're just sitting there watching this. So I need you to go and get a piece of paper and a pencil. And I apologize if I'm actually making you do something, but it's critical that you do this. So go get a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm going to pause right here until you go and do that, because I know that you're just sitting there watching and going, I'm not going to do that. Go and do it, please. And I'm going to pause right now. Okay, we're back. Now you should have gone and gotten a pencil and a piece of paper. Now here's what I want you to do, and this is very simple, but it's very important. I want you to write down on that piece of paper a list of all of your greatest assets. Okay, and when I say assets, I'm not talking about financial assets. I'm not talking about your portfolio, how much property you own, CDs you have, 401ks, all that thing. I don't want to hear any of that. When I say assets, I want to know what your greatest assets are. That probably has nothing to do with your financial. How about your body, your brain, your spirit, your friends, your talents, your family, experiences that you've had in your life, emotions, all of those kinds of things? I want you to write down what your greatest assets are and be honest with yourself. And those are just to name a few. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, now I want you to take that list and I want you to narrow it down to just 2 items. 2 items on that list. Go through process of elimination, 2 items, just 2. And then I want you to take those 2 items with you this weekend, and I want you to ask yourself this one thing: how can I use these 2 assets to help me? How can I use these 2 assets to help me? Okay? All right. Now last week, now hold on to that. Last week I asked you to take a shower, if you remember. We had the big check mark list. I hope all of you did that because it has been a week. Here's what I want you to do today. I want you to prepare for inspiration by cleaning your bedroom. Okay? Now this sounds really crazy and dumb, but this is what I want you to do. Think about this, specifically your bed. Okay? Think about this just for a minute. You change your clothes every single day. What, you live 10 to 12 hours a day in the same clothing? At nighttime, you take them off, you throw them in the laundry, you take a shower the next morning. how often do you actually change your sheets? Okay, now honestly, if you're a guy, I don't know if I really want to hear the answer to that, because it's probably maybe twice a year. Be honest, guys, if you're listening to this. If you were living on your own, you would change your sheet maybe twice a year. Okay, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to go in there right now when we're done, tear the sheets off your bed, throw them in the laundry, and clean them. Clean your bedroom. I want you to wrap your bed like you would wrap a finely purchased present. Okay? Wrap it and have it all completely ready for tonight. And we'll get to that later. Think about it. You spend 8+ hours a night in your bed and you wash your sheets. I don't know how often, but go and do it now. This is critical for this. All right. Okay, so task 1, let's review. List your assets. Task number 2, clean your bedroom and wash all your sheets and bedding and then put it all back perfectly. I want this to be the most beautiful place you walk into tonight before you go to bed. Okay, now I want you to come up with just 2 things that you really want to improve about yourself. Just 2. I don't know what they are. It could be anything. Write those 2 things down on the same page that you wrote your 2 assets. All right? But here's the kicker. I want you to write those 2 things in question form. In other words, let me give you an example. I'd really like to, how can I really lose weight? The 15 pounds that I want to lose. Or, I would really like to connect with my son or daughter. How can I best do that? Don't put it this way. I hate that I'm always overweight. Or my friends and family don't really like me right now, so I don't really feel like connecting with them. I want you to write 2 questions and write them in a positive way. Okay? Now here's the fun part. Remember that list of assets we worked on earlier? I want you to pull those out and apply those 2 questions that you just wrote to each of those assets. In other words, how can I help myself to lose that extra 15 pounds or better connect with my son, my daughter, my mother, my friends? And take those 2 assets that you had and write them down and put those together and see how you can use those to your advantage. Carry those questions with you all day. And here comes the best part. When you get ready for bed tonight, remember that whole bed thing that we talked about just a few minutes ago? Wash up, put on your best jammies, write in your journal, read your scriptures, say your prayers, turn off all your electronic devices. Okay? Turn them off. I don't even want them near you. Pull out those 2 questions that we talked about just a minute ago. And then I want you, the very last thing you do before you go to sleep is to lay in bed with those questions and meditate about them. I want you to think about them. I want you to ask yourself, how can I accomplish these things? Why do I ask you to do that? Because for the next 8.5 or 7 hours, however long you sleep, your brain is now going to solve any problems that you may have. So when you present a problem inside your head and you go to bed, your brain is going to continue working on that. Our brains are amazing, wonderful machines. They don't ever stop, and they always want to solve problems. So if we present a problem or a situation or a question, it's going to work on it until it figures it out. So do that. For the next 8 hours, your brain is now going to go to work trying to solve that question. When you wake up first thing in the morning, grab that pencil and paper and write down what your brain and your spirit combined figured out for you that night. Write it down. Write down those things. Here's the deal. How do I know this is going to work for you? I know this is going to work because last night I did this. I asked my brain before I went to bed and my spirit, how can I best help someone this weekend? I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. I got out of bed, I went into the kitchen table, and I wrote all of this exactly as I just gave it to you on these note cards. And so I know it's going to work. Wayne Dyer, who's a great author that I enjoy, had this quote to say. He said, "In order to make a visualization a reality in the world of form, you must be willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. This is the single most important aspect of visualization and imagery." So not only do you just think about this or go to sleep and hope that it all happens, you have to wake up and write it down and make it an integral part of your life. Your willingness to put this all together is what's going to make this work. Now that take that inspired list and those incredible assets and go to work. Because when you believe it, only then will you see it. I know that you know somebody who could possibly benefit from this, whether it's a friend or a family or one of your sons or daughters. Consider sharing this with them, and maybe it will help them to become a better person as well. Until tomorrow, be safe.